the boyfriend that I was with off and on since I was young, 16, 17. And then he got locked up. So now I'm at the house. I moved back from what now, you know?
You back up here by yourself now.
Yeah, doing a bid
You didn't have
with him.
You didn't have a child yet?
I had no kid, you know? So now I'm up here, back here, got this case still pending because the case didn't even come yet. And I'm riding, doing a bid with him. And then, like I said, I self-destruct. I got involved in unhealthy relationships, just partying and everything to escape from my reality.
Right.
To escape from what was really going on in Delaware because nobody knew. It was in Delaware. That's a whole other state. Nobody had no idea. Even when I'm in pre-trial release, nobody even knew. Like, I'm on pre-trial release, and I'm still out here transporting drugs across state lines.
Wait, you were?
Yeah. So fast forward now.
Yeah,
you gotta keep up.
Blanks, right?
Okay, so
there's a lot going on.
Okay, let's go. 07, I did the wire fraud. That went on to about 08. They came about a year later, but like they ended up dropping the civil case. So now it's 2009. I was involved. I was in a relationship at that time, and then that's when that person got caught up in a big case, a big situation, you know. And then when they got caught up, it like triggered the feds knocking my door about my wire fraud case.
Stemming from that, or
it didn't really stem from it.
You don't.
No.
You don't think it had nothing to do with that?
Because
that wasn't a Fed case.
No, it wasn't. Well, it was a Fed case. Originally was a Fed case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, originally started out being a Fed case. You know, and yeah, I can touch somewhat on that. But
yeah, we don't. I don't.
Yeah. So So when they knocked at my door, I thought they was coming to ask me questions pertaining to the dude I was with at the time, but they was asking questions about me.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when I ended up, like I said, sat down with them, basically told everything, indicted myself, and
with the lawyer.
With the lawyer.
Why would your lawyer let you talk?
Thank you. So
you paid him $50,000. He had a $50,000 retainer, and he's just letting you talk in front of the feds like this.
Yeah.
I
went to the grand jury and everything.
You might as well get a public defender.
Yes. Not knowing, just the naive, but guess what? This is where the trick, the kicker come in, because I'm out on pretrial release for 2.5 years. In the midst of those 2.5 years, the guy I was with catch a case, a big case, whatever, and in the midst of that, he needs $50,000 for his lawyer. Mm-hmm. So now I'm caught up, like the money ain't there like it was,
because at that time you're just living off the money you had already made.
And then also because the money that I had in the bank, because I was so dumb, when the feds came in, the money that this guy had for me was still in the account, down to the penny. He never touched it. But I didn't know. Yeah. He never touched the money that was for me. He had $400,000 still in the account. This is not an ex. This is the
dude who's caught the case.
The business guy who had the business account.
That's honorable.
Yes.
Because most people ain't like that.
Like I said, I knew the dude who I was dating. He was the middle guy. He was the one who got things together for me and the other dude. Mm-hmm. So when the feds came, when everything hit the fan, it was like me and that person were never supposed to meet. So I didn't really know him.
Right.
I didn't have a relationship really with him. So it was like, do I trust him? Because the middle dude ain't there no more. I'm dealing with this dude solely just like on his word, whatever. Never once ever betrayed me. So when the feds came in a year later, the money that he said he had for me was still in that account. So they froze the account. But he been told me to move the money.
Why didn't you go get...
I said F that money. I am like the dumbest
all
criminal.
That money?
Forget it. I don't want it.
You said F that money like it was $100.
I know. That's crazy.
Wow.
It is crazy. I literally left.
You could have came home to that bread. You know that,
I
right?
could have did. I was so overwhelmed. I didn't care. Like, I'm telling you, that's why I said this is what people don't know. I walked away and said, I don't care.
Okay, so all of this happens. Now you're jammed up because you indicted yourself.
Now I'm jammed up. I indicted myself. Now I'm out on pretrial release. These are my rules, stipulations, whatever. I ain't.
They already indicted you, and
I'm indicted now.
Did they put you in cuffs and?
No, because I sat down and told them the whole story, because they thought that I stole my coworkers' information and wired the money. They had no idea how I did it. Now it all comes out. After I sit down with them and talk to them, they had no idea.
If you didn't say nothing,
It would
you would have never did that.
It would have been a mystery because they didn't have no idea. They had the wire, how they see the money that moved around, but they don't know how it moved.
Wow.
They don't know what I did because I was the only one working at the bank, and I didn't tell a soul what I did, how I did it, or anything. So it was like.
So you waited. You didn't tell a soul the whole time, but you waited, but you going to tell the feds everything.
Everything. Just told them myself.
I should not be laughing.
No, you should be laughing because now when I sit back on it, I'm like, really?
You held it down for yourself the whole time until you spoke to the people that mattered, and you was like, "This is what I did."
Yeah. So now this is where everything come in because it's like I did that, right? So now I know I'm really going to prison. But my thing is, I told on me, and I put it all out there for me. But if it's going to get other people jammed up, we got a problem. Yeah. But like you said, this is where the trick comes in. You have no idea. If you didn't go to law school and stuff, you don't understand all that all that fine print. They talk to you so fast in the courtroom, this and that, you just sign, you just
spinning you.
You put your trust into your attorney, your lawyer, and thinking that they're advising you. You're young. So all of this happens all the time. Yeah, all the time.
For sure.
Or you say something, they switch your word around, say this and that, and now you're a snitch. Because it happens so fast. But there's always a way out. So I tell myself, I indict myself, I'm going down. I'm going down.
You had already come to grips.
I'm going to prison. So I'm out in 2.5 years. I'm on pretrial release, just living my life still wild. And so
and you still got a couple dollars?
Still got a couple dollars, but not whatever, because now I'm paying stuff and I'm living on land. I'm not working, so I still got to pay house, and I'm just whatever. So I'm just surviving, basically, at this point. Boom. Now the guy I'm with, he needs an attorney. So now I'm taking trips now. Now before I wasn't taking trips. I was hanging out with them. I might be in a car, but I ain't not involved like that. But now I'm taking trips because I need this money to pay these things. So I'm taking trips now.
Right.
Every time I make it back, I'm like, I made it back. It's crazy. And thank you, Lord, for making me back. I ain't get caught with no drugs, nothing. I end up getting pregnant. So now we're in 2009. So 2010 comes. So 2009, I end up getting pregnant. I stopped taking trips. I fall back from taking trips. I'm focused on having a baby and preparing to go to prison because I know I'm going to prison. So even when I get pregnant, I'm struggling like, wait.
But you didn't go to trial yet.
I didn't go to trial yet. And I'm in a relationship, and the person, just got locked up. They're looking at a lot of time. I'm going through secretly. I'm going through this case, and now I'm pregnant. So
where's your mental at this time?
My mental's all over the place. Because in my mind, I'm a ride or die. I'm loyal. I'm going to hold you down. And then I end up pregnant. So that ain't adding up.
Ain't it crazy how we hold on to those dumb morals that don't really matter? Like, once you get older, you just realize, like, because I did the same thing. I got to be loyal to this person, loyal to my whole squad, blah, 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 blah. And I did that forever. But some of them dudes I was loyal to, I watched them I watched them fold on people that we loved, and it was just like, all of this is fake.
Yeah, it is. But excuse me. So you feel like, okay, I'm a ride or die chick. Doing that, whatever I need to do to make him comfortable, whatever, and not thinking about you're on pretrial release.
Yeah.
You belong to the feds. I'm still. One time, this is when I knew it was real. I'm driving in Virginia, a state I'm not even supposed to be in, and didn't ask no permission or nothing. As soon I get pulled over because I'm in the HOV lane, and they pulled me over. And I was like, they was like, asking questions. I'm in a car. We probably got $100,000 cash in the car because we about to go down here and go pick up. And I'm in the HOV lane, get pulled over. Cops questioning me. As soon as they let me go, my phone rings, and here's my pretrial release officer. What are you doing in Virginia? That's how real.
And they didn't find the bread though.
No, I'm not getting pulled over because I got license, registration. Yeah. I'm legit. The cops ain't searching the car. And the person I'm with, like, don't you shut up, don't you say nothing. Like, because they know I get a little lippy. Don't say nothing. Give me your license, registration. Boom. He lets me go. Now a pretrial officer calls me though. What are you doing in Virginia? I said, I'm on with North Carolina. I mean, what are you doing there? Like, that's how real it got, because I was not supposed to be out.
So when you on pretrial, that's basically like probation, like federal probation?
It's worse than that, because they see it. When the cop pulled me over, he said, "What's this Fed thing attached to me?" I'm like, "I don't know what that is."
It just alerts them instantly.
It comes up.
Oh, wow.
That's when I knew it was real. Like, I'm on pretrial release, and they could see that I was attached. And as soon as I pulled off my probation, my pretrial release officer called me that fast. "What are you doing in Virginia?" They got alert that fast.
That's so wild.
I said, and then I was like, "You was doing okay. You're probably not gonna be violated." This and I'm like, "Oh shoot, I gotta ask permission to go out." They was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know, because I'm living my life. It's 2.5 years. I forgot all about that. Yeah. I'm just going on. I'm not seeing my pretrial officer. He don't come that much. I'm not taking urine. I'm just living still." And then the reality set in. Like, no, this is real.
They watching.
Right. So now I find out I'm pregnant. I'm thinking about, now I don't want to have the baby, because I'm doing this bid with him, waiting to see what's going to happen with him. Now I got to go face him and say, "I'm pregnant."
How long was he locked up before you went to trial, finally?
He was locked up about 1.5 years before I didn't even go to trial. It was about 1.5 years for, I basically found out I was pregnant. Once I found out I was pregnant, I cut ties, because I could not face him knowing I was pregnant with someone else's baby. Mm-hmm. So that was just like, on top of everything.
Did he think you was like...
Oh, he knew. He knew I was pregnant. He said right then and there. He knew. When I came in, he just wanted me to tell him, he said. But he knew. Yeah, he knew. And I just could never tell him. Like, I could not break and say, because it was just like, I held so much onto that ride or die, that loyalty, that, my word, I'm whatever, and it crushed me.
And he was young too.
Yeah, I couldn't say it. So now I got this case. I got his case on me. Now I'm pregnant. It's just so much. Mm-hmm. It was so much. And then March of 2011. No, let's take it back. About January of 2011, indictments started coming. People started getting picked up. But I ain't thinking they're gonna come get me. Now this is drug conspiracy. They're getting picked up on a drug conspiracy. Feds coming in, picking people up left and right. People around me, I said, "They ain't gonna touch me." I never once in a million years ever think that I was gonna be involved. I'm like, dang, getting a phone call. Dang, you see this one got picked up today. Dang, they came and grabbed this one. Dang, they grabbed this one. You talking about it, but you ain't thinking it's gonna come to you. So now, I had my daughter, January 3rd. I had my baby. Now they scheduled for me to go get sentenced on my wire fraud, March 7th. Oh, sorry, let me go back. This is a big part of it. In the midst of me being on the pretrial release, when you kept saying preparing for trial, I didn't think I would have to prepare for trial, because I knew I was, already guilty. Mm-hmm. My co-defendants, I had 2 co-defendants on my wire fraud case. They took it to trial. Now, everything that I signed is coming back to me, because I didn't even realize I signed a cooperating plea. And in the feds, they call it a 5K1. That's a cooperating plea. So now that my co-defendants are going to trial, I have to testify to keep my plea. So that's why I said there's always a way out. So when I did that, now I'm coming down there, I'm pregnant this time, they trying to say, "We're preparing you for trial." What you mean you're preparing me for trial? Your co-defendants are going to trial, and you got to testify. No, I'm not testifying.
Now, these co-defendants, were they co-workers or?
No. They're not co-workers. I have no co-workers, co-defendants, because
right,
nobody was involved.
Nothing.
Yeah, nobody in my job was involved with nothing that I did. My co-defendants are the dude who had the business account, and then the dude who I was dealing with, the middle dude.
Oh, they both got jammed up too.
They both end up getting indicted because of it. It's so crazy, because they end up getting indicted because somebody else told on them, whatever. But it was just like me telling everything. Everything just came out.
Right.
And so now it's time to go to trial. They're going to trial. So now it's like, you got to testify against them, because you basically are a key witness of ours, because you know everything that happened. And I'm like, I'm not going to trial. I'm not testifying against them. We give you 24 hours to go home and think about it. Okay, I go home and think about it. I'm coming back the next day, and I say to my mom, I'm not testifying. My mom said, "Well, if you don't want to testify, we ain't got to testify. Let's go." And I told her, she rides with me, and she said, "I'm going to ride with you, whatever decision you make."
And these are people that you don't even no longer have a relationship with at that time.
No relationship.
You just was like, I'm not telling.
I'm not telling. I may have told on myself and put it all on the table and said everything that happened and how it went from A to Z, but now I gotta go and say this and testify. I'm not doing that. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So we get down there, and in the midst of me doing that, they said, hey, we got information that you was transporting drugs across state line. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, this is how everything ties in and how people don't realize.
Was that stemming from that pullover?
These are two, no, they have nothing to do with each other. One's in Delaware and one's in Lancaster. But the fact that I was already out on pretrial release and underneath their, like, you know, their little puppet at the time, now it's like, oh, we heard that you was transporting drugs and all this, and someone told this, you need to tell us about this. I don't know what you're talking about. Now, I might have told you about my wire fraud case. I did that.
Yeah.
I'm telling on myself. But I'm not giving you no information about something that happened, something. No. Now I'm going to be indicting other people. No, I'm not doing that.
So how'd they know about that?
Yeah, somebody got caught up and brought my name up. So it's so crazy how everything was transpiring. I'm looking to go get sentenced. And here they're preparing me for trial. And then they said they hit me with this. And I'm like, I'm not doing this.
And you were just in the car, I'm assuming, or you was driving?
No, I drove, but I was the driver, but I never was by myself. So it's like I never did a drug transaction. I drove the person up to pick drugs and come back.
Right.
But, you know, I was the driver.
And you got pulled over and caught?
Never got pulled over.
How'd they know? Because somebody told.
Hearsay.
So that's enough?
That's enough.
Wow.
Yeah. So now I'm about to go not testify. They want me to go testify against my co-defendant. I say I'm not doing it. So my lawyer was like, oh, you just going to go out in a blaze of glory? I said, yeah, that's what we're going to do. So now everything's done in Delaware. There's nothing.
So even after you knew somebody brought your name up, you still held it down?
I still was like, no.
Wow.
Now, I could have been the first one to ring the alarm on the drug conspiracy because they came at me first. Mm-hmm. And I already had a case pending that they could dangle. Like, you better tell us that. You want to get a deal over here, this and that. But I say, no, I'm going to take my chances all across the board. I'm not testifying against my co-defendant because he was 100 straight up with me. He ain't never do me dirty.
Yeah.
He always came correct. Now, I was the fool to listen to my attorney the first time, and I sat down and indicted myself. But I'm not going to be the fool again and listen to my attorney and say, go testify, because that's what he wanted. My attorney did. So there's a way out. Because I said no that day, and everything that was ever said went out the window. They can't use nothing that I said against my co-defendants because I was not in that courtroom to tell them that. Mm-hmm. You know? So.
But when you went to court.
But when I went to court, now for my wire fraud case, now with my wire fraud case, they didn't even need me. Their friends told on them about the money, where the money was being sent to. The guy who worked there ended up flipping and telling everything. So they didn't even need my testimony to find them guilty.
People that they indicted, the people that you knew, whoever they was communicating with, told the whole story.
Told on them, yep.
And that got you jammed up.
No, that's what got them jammed up. Because my testimony, whatever I said.
Did they tell on you?
Yeah, come to find out, the one dude, one day we had the civil suit. He went and did a deposition, and he told them that I came to his business one time, and they asked him, you know, and he thought I was a legit loan agent. Like, he thought I was coming and offering him a loan. He never knew it was fraudulent or nothing. He just felt as though that it was legit.
And he knew everything. Wow.
Yeah. So I didn't even know this. He threw me under the bus without me knowing that I still didn't go testify against him.
Wow.
Still didn't get on the stand against him. Didn't even know this until after I was sentenced in prison looking up my case and I seen it.
Did they do as much time as you?
No. They did. I got sentenced to 4 years on that case. The other one got sentenced to 2 because he didn't really have a big, and then the other one got sentenced to 8 years. But he only got sentenced to 8 years because he had a prior record. But
this was the boyfriend?
No, this was the
other guy,
the old head. Let's call him the old head, who had the business account, who we brought into it. So it was like I could not go against him.
So how'd they wrap this drug case into your?
Okay, so now March 7th, I go and get sentenced for my wire fraud case. They sentenced me to 4 years. They gave me 30 days. I'm sorry, take that back. February 7th, I go and get sentenced for my wire fraud case. They sentenced me to 4 years. They give me 30 days to go turn myself in. So March 7th, I was supposed to turn myself in. Self-surrender, they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Within those 30 days, I got indicted on a drug conspiracy. They came knocking at my door.
So you called a case while you was waiting. Wow.
Called a case while waiting to turn myself in to do my 4 years.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Now, that's where all the craziness come from.
So they take it, or they... How's that work? Do they take you back? They can't redo the trial that already happened, so they just tack that on top of everything?
That's where it got tricky, because I was sentenced on February 7th, but I wasn't supposed to turn myself into March 7th to Philadelphia. Mind you, I had it all set up. I'm getting a party bus, I'm going this and that. Now I tell my friends. Now I got to tell my friends. Now, remember I told you no one knew.
Yeah.
So now I got calling them up and say, oh, I'm about to go to prison for 4 years. Well, what you do? So it's like, I'm telling everybody what happened. They're like, well, you got to come spend some time with me. You got to spend some time with me. So I'm planning all this stuff out. You know, my daughter's father, he just got locked up, just can't catch a break. So he had to do a couple months in the midst of this time. My daughter's only a couple weeks old. By the time the feds come in, my daughter's only 7 weeks old. And they came in. It's so crazy because I couldn't sleep that night. But she was just up, happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I go downstairs and I make me a pack of ramen noodles. Oh, my God. The last meal I eat is a pack of ramen noodles.
Which is crazy because you can have that in jail.
Not knowing this is about to be what I'm about to be eating for the next 10 years. But I make me a pack of ramen noodles, come back upstairs. And my niece and them was snowing, so my niece and them had a school delay, a 2-hour delay or something. And she's out front, I think, waiting on the bus. And then next thing you know, hear this pound, pound, boom, boom, boom on the door. And I'm like, what? I'm about to go to the door. My mom's like, no, get back. They're asking for you. So my mom's down, my mom's a rider. So she's down there like, she's not here. They move her out the way, come running, and come straight into the room like they knew where I was.
Yeah.
And they arrested me. And I remember my mom has my daughter in her hand. She's crying. She's just screaming, not knowing what's going on. I'm not knowing, but I'm just still like in shock. So I'm numb. I have no emotion. And they're just like handcuff me and go and take me. And I'm just still like so confused. My mom's like, she's not supposed to turn herself in. What is this? And they put me in a car. And the man before the door shuts, he was like, you didn't want to tell on this case. You better tell on this case. You got a daughter, you this and that. It's so crazy how everything connects.
This was the feds.
This is what the feds said to me. ATF.
I had a friend, the same friend I was talking about earlier. Before he actually got locked up, he got arrested at the mall. They ran up. It was the feds. They had the Homeland Security badges and all that. And they arrested him. And I would never forget. I knew it was done that day. But they arrested him. Took him in for questioning for a couple hours. They let him out. He comes back and he tells us that they let him out because he said he was going to cooperate. But he was like, but I'm not really going to cooperate. You know what I mean? I just wanted to be back out here. And, he was out for like 2 years. And then on the humbug, they just came back and snatched him up. And when they grabbed him, they was like, I thought you was going to help. I thought you was going to cooperate. And they arrested him. That's when he started cooperating.
Right. That's when it got real.
Right. So, yeah.
But it's just, it happened so fast. And you asked them a question like, where did you go? You're supposed to go, whatever. Well, they took me to Lehigh County prison, jail, basically. And I sat there for 2.5 years waiting to get sentenced.
Right.
But that's where the trick came, because where did the 4 years go? That was supposed to start. But I'm not in a federal facility. I'm still in a county jail, detained as a federal inmate. And it was just like, but guess what? God saved me, because me going to that county jail was the best thing for me. Because I had 2.5 years, and that's when I had to look myself in the mirror and just to embrace and accept everything that was going on. It got real. Yeah. Because I ain't never been arrested and go to a jail. Been in a county jail before. I never made it past the police station. You know, and it just got real that day. And my mom said, "Baby, you need to pray." I'm like, God can't help me out of this one, Mom. God can't help me. But that's when I had to build my own relationship with God and had step on my own faith, because I couldn't use my mom's prayers no more, my nanny's prayers. I had to actually face this head on and get down on my knees myself and pray
So
and build a relationship.
So when they lock you up, did you ever get out on bail, or you
No.
was in there the whole time until
Flight risk?
Wow.
Went to the court and they just detained me. I didn't even have an option. I was useless to them, they said, because I was out on pretrial release. I had this other case where I didn't cooperate, because even though I told everything that happened, when it came time to it, I didn't testify. I didn't do whatever. So you're useless. You got 4 years, they said, and that people get that for jaywalking. That's a slap on the wrist. You got 4 years for the amount of money that was taken. You're not getting that over here without cooperating. Oh no, they weren't trying to hear it. And I didn't cooperate with them on the ex-boyfriend's case. I didn't cooperate with them when they wanted to talk to me. So now it's like all these different cases.
Oh, because you said, I forgot you said that was a fake case.
Yeah, too. It started out a fake case. Then, when then it came to a county case, but I didn't talk to them at all. Mm-hmm. And they was like, no, you know something. Wouldn't talk to them there. So now that's 2 incidents where I didn't cooperate.
So what happens at sentencing?
So now they say, if you want to get less time, you got to do a third-party cooperation. And that means they want me to reach out to someone else and to get them to start setting people up for me to get time off.
And you still said no.
And I still said no. I'm not putting nobody else in that.
All that time you was looking at, did you know, because you knew you had 4 years. Did you know how much they could possibly tack on?
Well, on the paper, you see all these numbers, so it's 10 years. I'm looking at 10 years. My daughter's 6 weeks old. So I was faced with a lot of decisions.
Yeah.
And I still was like, no. Even my daughter being 6 weeks old, wanting to be home with her, that was a hard decision to make. It was still hard to make. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Because for me,
How old were you?
At this time, I was 28. I was 28 and I just had my first daughter, and it was a lot. I'm 5 months into my bid. My brother gets killed, Now I'm dealing with that, Daughter father got two women pregnant. I'm dealing with that, I lose my aunt. I'm dealing with so much, but I'm still like, that's not enough for me to.
And this is all before you even went in.
This is why I'm in waiting to get sentenced. Why I'm in the county.
Oh yeah, because
I'm in 2.5 years. So many things came to me, but I'm still like, nope. I'm not flipping. I'm not whatever. I'm getting now the paperwork's coming to me because I'm preparing to go to trial, because they said she's useless. We want 15 years from her. That's the only deal we giving her, 15 years. Well, 15 years, that's life to me. I don't want that. I'm going to trial. I'm taking the feds to trial. Yeah, okay.
Which but most people would never try.
Right. They got to give me all my discovery. So I see everything now.
And you see all the people that you've been holding down.
I see everything. Yes. Everything.
So once you see that your loyalty is not reciprocated, how do you feel about this holding it down and standing tall? Because let me tell you, before you even answer this, I've heard about your name when you was about to come home, when you came home, a couple months ago. I've been hearing about you for a while now. And everybody who spoke about you said she's stand up. It's honorable what she did. She's this, she's that. Nothing was bad. Everybody spoke highly of you. Because what you did was honorable in certain lights. How do you feel about that today? The no snitching, the fact that you didn't compromise your beliefs. How do you feel about that right now?
I wouldn't take it back. I wouldn't. Only because it's what allows me to sleep at night.
Right.
That's what I held on to it, And I would say stuff sometimes like, if I do it again, I would tell. But then I think my dad or somebody said to me, no, you wouldn't. Because it's not in you.
I'm about to say, some of us are you're just that kind of person.
Yeah, like, it's just not in me to see someone take me away from my child. Like, I couldn't see myself taking somebody away from their child like I was taking from mine. Because it's like, I'm going to do this time. They're going to get the time regardless. I'm going to have to do time. That's how I was looking at it.
But
so why we got to do the time together?
And for some of the people that told on you, actually, you could have reversed it, and they would have probably got worse, or at least the same as what you got.
I could have told on them first, and I wouldn't have had to do hardly no time. If I got 4 years without telling, I probably would just got probation or something if I would have cooperated. And that's what gets me with this whole snitching thing, because people say, oh, I didn't know. They tricked me. They changed my words, this and that. You still can get out. I went and indicted myself, and I still was able to reverse that and walk away from the table and say, I didn't know, but now I know, and you can have your deal. I walk away.
That's stand up.
You still can. But I got all my paperwork. I see everybody who told on me. I'm going to trial. Now, y'all got to get on the stand. This is how I'm thinking it. Y'all got to get on the stand and say it in my face that I did that. Right. Because you got nothing on me but hearsay and ghost dope. They got no drugs. No footage or nothing of me driving. They just got rental car agreements. But that's all they need. They need 2 people to go to grand jury and say she did this, he did this, and it's an indictment, and that's all the feds need.
Wow.
90% or more at now, probably conviction rate, and I'm going to go against the feds. That's how tough I thought I was. But guess what? How God still say, I'm going to save this fool. Because even in me doing that, the same DA who couldn't stand me, who wanted me up under the prison, said to my lawyer, what? I'm going to take a meeting with her. I'm going to take a meeting with her because she don't know what's about to happen. He sits down with me. And he says to me, he said, I guarantee you, your daughter's going to be your age by the time you come home if you take this to trial. Because they're getting on the stand against you. They're telling. They working with me.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you still held it down.
And he was just like, I was like, wow.
I don't even want to say hold it down, because hold it down sounds, I feel like you got duped and by holding it down. And I come from the you should hold it down cloth. You know what I mean? But hearing your story, I'm like, damn, you got the raw end of the deal.
Yeah.
By holding it down, because it seemed like everybody that was around you wasn't.
Yeah. And I got more time than, my co-defendants was like home before me. Even with my other case, I get that, but they've been doing this since juvie. They've been in the streets hustling and bustling since juvenile. Since they was juveniles. And I got the same time. I'm on the same level as them, if not more. In our eyes, like, you're involved a little more. They trying to take the money case and put it with the drug case. Like, you the queen pin. You was supplying this. You the brains behind this, they said.
Because you had all
You
that
got the
bread.
smarts. You got the degree. The DA told me you could have been nurse supervisor.
That's crazy how they paint that in court.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I got hit harder because of the fact that I had a degree.
So they finally wound up sentencing you to what?
Oh, so I go to sentence. And then when I go to sentence, after 2.5 years of sitting there, and I say to him, he said, hey, you're going to trial? I say, you know what? I'm thinking about my daughter now. I got to stop being selfish, and I got to think about my child. I say, you know what? I'm going to plea out. I'm just going to take my chances. I'm going to take a plea. Still don't know what I'm looking at because they can't guarantee no number. I just plead out. So I plead out, and I go to sentencing. I sit about another year or so, and then I go to sentence, and I still don't know what I'm getting. But in my mind, I'm thinking I'm getting a worst case scenario. I'm getting 10 years, I say. I'm thinking I'm getting 10 years.
So you already had a dime in your head.
In my head, I'm thinking worst case scenario, I'm going to get 10.
And you was already in there, so you was like, F it, I'm here. Like,
yeah, I'm here. I'm just 10. I'm hoping it's not 10.
Yo, let me tell you how there's like less than 1% of people as honorable as you that I know in my life. Like, they're like the way you held it down. Are you still like that as a person? I need you as a friend, because let me tell you that's crazy to me.
It's hard because it's like, yeah, because once you get in prison, you get worse. It get worse when you get in prison because you're moving this sneak. We get to that, but it's like, okay, so I go to court. We get up there, the family's there, everybody's there to support, and because it's all out now what's going on with me. And at this court, the first one I got sentenced for this 4 years, I had about 4 people in the courtroom. But this time, it's packed. Because now everybody knows what's going on with me. The secret before now is out, and the support is there. But guess what? It hurt me. The man said, never in all the years I've been doing this, I've seen a courtroom packed like this. You had the support. You had this. You had that. And look. So it hurt me again. And the judge sentenced me to, and the feds, they do months. He sentenced me to 199 months. So me hearing that at that time, I'm like, what the hell is
that? Sounds crazy. You can't add that up in your head that quick. So that's a long time.
Then I hear my dad like, you gave my baby damn near 17 years. And I'm like, 17 years? What?
Lord have mercy.
Still don't show no emotion. I look back at my mom. I'm like, Mom, what?
With a packed courtroom.
You okay? Like, she's like, are you okay? I don't know what's going on. Like, how am I going to do this? And she said, baby, we going to do it. We going to do it one day at a time. She said, we're going to do it one day at a time. That's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to hear. And
So sheesh. So that's the number you hear, and then you go to jail, and they start bouncing you around. Like, you didn't stay at one jail.
No, once you got sentenced, they got me out of the county jail. They sent me straight to the feds in Philadelphia, the holding center. I went to the holding center. And then from the holding center, I stayed there about 2 months because you got to wait till your paperwork come. They got to designate you, this and that. And it came out to 16 years, 9 months that I had to do. I was sentenced. My out date was like, let's just say I'm in 2013.
Did your dad have a calculator? He knew that.
I had no idea how that man knew that darn number.
How you know that? 17 years?
I said, what? And so at 16 years, 9 months, I'm looking at, I got 2.5 years in. I'm waiting to get designated. So I was supposed to go to a camp.
You was 5?
No, this time I'm about 30. Okay. About 30. And I was supposed to go to a camp, but they're like, you're not going to go to a camp. Now, this is when you get there. Now, you got all the prison lawyers and stuff. You're not going to a camp. You got too much time. That's too much time to go to a camp. But here go my mom. Mama speaks. She said, we serve a guy who looks high and looks down. I mean, sits high and looks down low.
Word.
You're going to a camp, basically.
And ain't nothing like a black mother.
Yes. And I went to a camp. But I sat there, and you got to wait to get designated. So once I got designated, and they were sending me to the camp, everything, they transport you on a plane. So that whole...
You was telling me about like the Con Air,
is real.
Yo, because I saw the movie, and I did not know that was a real thing. Like, they really be transporting y'all on. Real. And did y'all be like...
You're
shackled?
Like you're shackled, your feet, whatever, and you're shackled, and you're on the plane shackled, and if you gotta go to the bathroom, you're shackled, and you gotta pull your clothes down shackled. They don't ever take the cuffs off you.
Wow.
You're shackled. Yeah, they don't play.
And they flew you out the way, like the middle of the country, Kentucky.
They fly you to Oklahoma first. And Oklahoma is a transit center. Everyone comes in and out.
I think that's where they went in the movie.
Yep. And then you go to Oklahoma. Everybody gets in there. Where you going? Everybody, where you going? Because sometimes you don't find. You're not supposed to find out you're designated where you're going to till you get to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Because they don't want somebody to try to set something up and get you out.
Yeah.
So when you're in Oklahoma, they tell you, you know where you're going. You're going here. They tell you where you're designated. So everybody like, who's going there? Who? So you kind of like see who's going to what prison. Then they just get you in the middle of the night.
So you can't even tell your folks where you're going until you get there.
Once you get to Oklahoma, you can tell them where you're going.
Okay.
Because now they feel
you
like
can get
you're
on the phone from there.
You get on the phone and say, "Hey, I'm going. They're sending me here or something." You can, but they still don't tell you when you're leaving. They just you get on that phone and say, "Hey, Mom, I'm leaving tomorrow." Oh, the whole flight is canceled. You're not going on that flight.
Because they monitor your whole.
They monitor everything. You're not going because they know who's leaving, and if it slips up and you have to get some type of somebody lawyer. I mean, the officer. Somebody say something like, "You're leaving tomorrow."
Yeah.
And you get on that phone. Yeah, you're not leaving.
Wow.
Yeah, they for them, it is definitely a tight ship over there. You coming in and out. Their system is amazing.
So how long was you in Oklahoma?
I was in Oklahoma. It all depends. Sometimes you get stuff for like a week, a month, 2 months. It all depends.
And from there you went to where?
And from there I went to West Virginia. And I went to Alderson Camp. I stayed there. Got into a fight. Got kicked out. Yeah. So once you get there, now I'm going to a camp. A lot of people at camp got less than a year and a day. They don't really got that much time. Right. I'm coming there with 15 years left on my sentence. So that's a lot. Because people, like, they usually work your way down to a camp. Yeah. You go behind the fence and you get to a camp. And when you get to the camp, you know you're going home. But I started off there. So it was just like, you get into it with someone, you got time, you got so much time, and I felt like I had nothing to lose. Man, my out date's 2026, we're in 2013. I don't have nothing to lose. I'm setting on anybody. And yeah, it didn't go
Oh,
well.
you wasn't no turd.
I wasn't though. I was to myself, but then it just, yeah, I snapped one day. One day I snapped, and guess what my mom said? She said, "Baby, I've been thought you was gonna snap." So I'm not even mad at you.
But you wasn't showing no emotion
No
throughout the whole
emotion
thing. So
throughout the whole thing.
That's
the
it
first
builds
time.
up. Like when you are the type of person that holds stuff in, eventually you gonna pop.
Yeah, I snapped.
So where did you spend most of your time at?
Kentucky. So I went to.
So they just sending you to all the hick
Yeah.
states. Like, send her to where no black folks go ever. That's what they
When I got on the plane, that's the first thing I said. I said, "Is there black people in Kentucky?"
No, absolutely not. Unless they play basketball, hell no.
Right, and I was right there in Lexington, Kentucky. Yes, Kentucky was right there. That's where we used to go to.
That's
the
all they
hospital.
got.
University of Kentucky, right there. We was right there in Lexington, Kentucky.
That and Louisville. That's all Kentucky got.
And that's all they talk about. They are diehard Kentucky fans out there. But it was an experience. I said, God, I don't know what you got for me in Kentucky, but all right, whatever. And my mom, it didn't matter where I was. She made sure she came to lay eyes on me. And when I got to Kentucky, she was right there in Kentucky. She drove to Kentucky with her friend, drove her to Kentucky, and she came to come see me.
How was your bid? Was it rough? I know it was a long time, but like, did you get acclimated? Did you have a lot of issues while you was in there?
I didn't really have any issues. Like, at first I started out in my bid, they called me, I was green.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're green, you don't belong here. You don't look like you belong in prison. Well, what does it look like to belong in prison?
Right.
What does a person look like in prison? I used to get that a lot. I was laid back, quiet. But once I got about 5-6 years, hit that little mark, yeah, my environment got inside of me because I didn't know who I was. I just was like, yeah, who is this person? Because I allowed my environment to get inside of me, and I changed who I was. Like, I changed.
That would change anybody.
Right.
Though. That's not.
But in the beginning of my bid, my friends say, you know what? You stay who you are, true to who you are, and you wake up every morning, you say good morning. No matter if someone don't say good morning to you, you still do it. My mom, understand people. Stop trying to be understood. Like, my bid was good, but the last 5 years of my bid was kind of rough in Kentucky because I just kind of just allowed that environment inside of me. I'm just angry. I'm cussing. I'm doing all type of stuff that I ain't do.
And you did 10 years altogether.
I did 10 years altogether, and I was actually supposed to get out in 2023, but I got compassion release, so they gave me immediate release, being that my mom was sick and everything, so I was able to get out early, and that was still all God ordained because the way that happened, and that whole story is just like crazy, but I got out.
Now, so let's talk a little bit about everything that was going on with your family. First off, you had a child right before you went in.
Mm-hmm.
And your child was how old when you went in?
6 weeks.
6 weeks you came out, your child was 10.
Mm-hmm.
How did that affect you? How did that affect your child?
Oh, it took a toll on her. She didn't understand at first. They gave the whole she's in school, and then when it came out that where I was, because when she got to about 6 or so, I just started telling her, like, mommy's in adult timeout, and I did something bad. I didn't want her to think I was in school, and school was what kept us away. Right. So then I started gradually telling her I'm in adult timeout, and it was like in prison, because she came to see me, but I was at a camp, so she thought it was fun.
Right.
So once I got in trouble at the camp, they sent me behind a wall. So now she had to go through metal detectors and this and that, so it was different.
Yeah.
And she started remembering that. Then so now I'm telling her and everything, and end up getting video visits. So I would video with her like once a week and all that. So it was like we was able to be connected. So I thought me and her bond was amazing. Then when I got out, reality set in, and it wasn't. She was angry. She was hurt. She didn't have no understanding. And you know what she said to me? She said, "You should have snitched." 10 years old, she said, "You should have snitched. You would have been home if you would have snitched."
I think that's all a child could understand. And honestly, let me not say that, but I think that's all the comprehension that a child can have. My mom's not here. Mm-hmm. And if she would have told on the people that told on her, I would have my mom. Mm-hmm. So all that code, what is that? It don't mean nothing to a child. It doesn't mean nothing to a mother or a father neither. You know what I mean? Like, it just, and once I started thinking like this about the streets is when I started leaving it alone. because it got to a point where I got too mature for the streets. And there was just certain things I wasn't willing to do. If I know you're not a stand-up dude, I'm not going to stand up for you because that's the code of the streets.
Right.
So I'm leaving this alone because I know the code of the streets. And now that I don't want to live by that no more, I'm leaving it alone. But as a child, as me as somebody's child, if my mom had to go through the same situation, I'd be upset too. Why didn't you tell on them? You could have been here with me. Mm-hmm. So I understand that. Like that's a lot for a kid.
And it was hard to swallow, a hard pill to swallow, because it's like my daughter's sitting here like all you had to do was just snitch, you would have been home. And I'm like, it wasn't that easy, baby. It wasn't that easy, but she didn't get it. But what also bothered me is, how do you even know about snitching? Like, what is snitching to you? Like, and that's when the whole snitching thing started, like, just that whole word started really messing with me, like, because it's like, people throw that out there. I'm not no snitch. I'm not going to snitch. But have you ever been in a situation where your back was against the wall and you had to snitch or not snitch? So you don't know what you're going to do. Can't respect you because you don't know.
Yeah.
What you do? A little DUI, possession of marijuana. What did you do? Whatever. You was robbing people and you got caught up. You was robbing people. That had nothing to do with you.
And that's exactly how you should be looking at it. Because there's a lot of people, even including I've never done a road bit. And when I was doing whatever I was doing, I would never tell, blah, 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 blah. But I was never put in the situation you was. But I've seen people that I thought was thorough put in your situation, and they folded.
They fold, they crumble.
Yeah, they folded, period. Like, that's 100% true.
And what messes with me is because people pick and choose who they want to apply that pressure on and put that label snitch on. Mm-hmm. We got known snitches that got on the stand and testified and walked out the courtroom with the family like nothing. Mm-hmm. Wow. Mm-hmm. Or these people are riding with this dude knowing he's told on his right-hand man, but now you think he's going to be loyal to you?
And the worst part
because it wasn't you?
They let him come home and get back in the streets. That's the crazier point. Like, you let them come back and they back outside with you? I don't understand. So
it's like, and that's what frustrates me with this whole snitching thing, you know? Now, me and you did a case, and we both were involved, and I go down and I tell on you, yeah, I snitched. Mm-hmm. All day. That's snitching.
Like I said, you more stand up than most of these dudes in this city. Yeah. Most of these dudes running around still claiming they G, still claiming they gangster. They didn't stand up like you.
They didn't. But I just choose not to pull out paperwork and stuff and expose people.
Like, you know? Yo, I'm
just saying, like, but you out here in these streets and quick to say someone else is a snitch, but nobody never want to talk about themselves. Mm-hmm. How you went from a letter to a number. You didn't get that by
that part.
Just whatever. No, you didn't get that by standing up. You got that by doing what you had to do to get that number. Yeah. You know? And that's what people don't understand. So they're going to still deal with, pick and choose who they still want to deal with. Or they can justify, oh yeah, I told, but we said we was going to tell on each other. So I'm not a snitch or I'm not a snitch. But so it's like, it's just thrown around in so many ways. But if you just go in there and you stand up and you say, you know what, me and Billy, we did that crime together. We going to go in here. We just going to stand up. We going to take this time together. Whatever number they come, we just going to ride this out.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they find a crack, and then the whole snitching thing, people don't realize is you are a number to them. It frustrates me because when my paperwork came in, they said CI da 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 da, and they don't keep it discreet. Oh, on this page it was discreet, then on this page they forgot to black out the name. So now I know the name. I know exactly who it is. They put them in jeopardy. They don't care though. You gave me what I wanted. Now you're thrown to the wolves.
You lost your brother while you was in jail, right? Mm-hmm. How'd you handle that?
It was rough. It was rough because I didn't know how to grieve, you know, because at one point I was that person defending someone who was in a situation where, you know, they was accused of murdering someone, you know, right. And now my brother was murdered. How do you deal with that? Because now I used to sit on this side of the bench in the courtroom. Now I'm going to be on this side as the grieving family, right. the grieving sister. It's hard, you know, and we don't have no answers. We don't know who did it. It's rough. You know, and it's just so many people that was involved in that, and it's just crazy. But guess what? They standing solid. Whoever was involved in that, 10 years later, still ain't no crack.
Yeah.
Streets are talking, but ain't no one arrested.
Oh, it's still unsolved.
It's still unsolved.
Wow.
So it just go to show how people pick and choose. And guess what? I don't need my answers from the street. I'm not looking for anyone to snitch or tell somebody out, because my brother came to me and said he's at peace. And they going to get theirs, whether it's here on earth or afterlife, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not looking for that, you know? Yeah. Everybody knows whatever happened, and you got to deal with that. Everybody got their own demons they got to fight.
Yeah.
So but it is frustrating.
I'd imagine.
Because you don't know. It's still the unknown, you know? But at the end of the day, you know, choices, you know? But yeah. it hurt to not be there with my family to grieve, so it's hard to grieve.
Yeah.
Even
now, throughout this interview, and I was a little hesitant to touch on this, but this is something that me and you have in common. You know, I lost my mom. It'll be a year ago next month.
Okay.
I know we talked throughout this interview. Your mom was a big part of your life. She was your biggest supporter. And then she got sick while you was in jail. Mm-hmm. And then they let you out early because she was sick. How did that affect you? Because I know she's no longer here either, and she rests in peace. My condolences. How that whole situation affect you?
It still is like fresh, you know, only been like a couple months, and it's hard to process because like I grieved so much when I was in prison, losing my brother, my stepdad, my aunties, like 2 of my aunts, 3 aunts. It was just a lot of death that I faced while I was in prison, and you can't grieve in prison. You know, you find out someone died and you still got to get up and go to work. You can't show no sign of emotion, because as soon as you do, they're putting you on suicide watch. You break down and cry too much. Oh, she needs she needs to go. Yeah. She needs to go be isolated. Suicide watch. She might try. The first thing they ask you, do you feel like harming yourself? Do you think you're gonna hurt yourself? These are the questions that they ask you after you get that phone call that your stepdad had died.
And you ain't even processed yet.
Don't even know. But as soon as you show any sign of emotion, you're going straight in the straitjacket in suicide watch. So you got to mask it.
Right.
And you just learn that's how your coping mechanism becomes. And then it's like I get back out here and my mom died, and it's like I don't know. I'm trying to be strong, and I broke down on Mother's Day. Like, I don't have to be strong. I can cry, like it's okay.
Yeah, for sure, you know? For sure.
I'm at the funeral and I'm up, hey, hi, and they're like, no, you okay? Cry, like, but I just didn't know how to, because I've been in a situation. In
jail, you ain't supposed to show that, yeah.
Well, you can't show vulnerability because it's gonna be looked at as a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
But thank God I did have some sisters that I met in prison. But they say, oh, you can't find no friends in prison. I did though. Well, I didn't find friends. I found sisters.
Yeah.
And we was a family. So when we was going through each other, that's who I leaned on, because I couldn't hug my sisters or my mom, my daughter. I had to hug family. Them. Yeah. They was there checking on me and making sure I was okay. And that's why I cried in the midnight hour. And anytime I needed them, that's whose room I was knocking on, just like, I just need someone to talk to and vent. And they understood.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. My fat sister said it to me this past weekend. If you don't go through this, like, I don't really know how she worded it, but she said that if only we understand what it's like to go through this. Mm-hmm. You're not going to understand when you go through this. So when I came home, people was like, oh, you're angry, you're this and that, because I was coming home and getting in fights left and right, and they were like, oh, she's angry. I was like, you don't understand the environment I just came from.
Yeah.
What you did was disrespect.
You got to settle back in and get,
We're locking in and we're going to get that out, and then we're going to go on. But I had to remember, like, no, Corinne, this is not that.
Yeah.
You can't. You will get into some real trouble, and people will press charges for you put your hands on them. So I had to learn that, and guess what? I had to remove myself from situations from environments that will put me in those type of situations. So, no, I can't go out. I can't drink and party and stuff like that, because I wasn't set up. I wasn't at that. Now I may be a little better, but I wasn't set up coming straight from prison going straight into the bar scenes and people getting smart and stuff and saying stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't set up. So I'm just popping off.
These
now.
hands.
Yeah. Now I want to. Yeah. I'm not even talking with fight. And they're like, "You're angry. You're bitter. You're this." No, I'm not. I'm happy and blessed to be home early.
Yeah.
But the environment I came from is still in me.
Plus, you had a lot of pressure. Like you had a lot of stuff you was holding.
Yeah.
On top of your, like, not just the environment you came from, but a lot happened during that time. Because I know, like me now, like I try to catch myself because I'm more quick tempered, and it's like I gotta realize, like, yo, I'm holding a lot. I gotta wait till I'm over that. So I know. Just imagine. I don't know, but I could just imagine coming from 10 years in and then losing so many family members, and then you come home and you lose the one that's closest to you. Like, that was a lot. Like, I was at your welcome home party, and I saw your mother and you, and I saw how close you were, and that was just in a quick interaction. So hearing you talk about her, and I know how the mother-child thing is. So I know that was probably rough.
It was hard. And not only that, I was coming home. I knew she was sick. You know, it's crazy. They told me Mother's Day of 2019. So I knew she was sick, but I didn't know how sick she was. So I'm coming home to a daughter who was just challenging me every day, not knowing if when I walk out that door if I'm going to come back. Yeah. That fear of her waking up, knowing, like, whatever. I would lose her in the store, and she's crying when I find her again, like, Mom, I thought you left. I didn't think you was coming back. So dealing with that, trying to get her to know I'm here, I'm not going nowhere. And every time she tried to fight me, I'm like, I don't care how much you try to push me away. I'm here. I'm not going nowhere. Yeah. I ain't lose my rights to you. You're mine. You know? So I kept showing up in the midst of everything. Dealing with that, and then dealing with a sick mom. Seeing what she's going through. Her chemo, how it's taking a toll on her. And how do you watch the strongest woman you know slowly die? Like, how?
That's rough. I know that for
you know.
Yeah.
You're the strongest woman I know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I gained my strength from you. Like, to watch her weak and just vulnerable and still trying to be tough, and just, it was crazy. But I was blessed. I looked at the blessing to be able to be here and spend a whole year with her, go through all the holidays, moments, up, down, still bump heads with her, all of that. And to stand there and watch her take her last breath and transition. That was the best feeling in the world, instead of getting that phone call.
Able to actually be there. Yeah.
To be there.
Yeah.
Instead of getting that phone call saying your mom passed away. No, I got to be there live in the flesh. And I would take that over anything.
Yeah.
So my mom got her wish. She just wanted all her kids home, that was alive, and we always here. Well,
I'm going to tell you this. Your mom wasn't the only one glad to see you home. I'm glad to see anybody honorable and respectable like you home. You deserve to be home. You shouldn't have did as long as you did. And there ain't too many people like you. Thank you for doing this show. Thank you for being so vulnerable and open and honest. This was dope. This was everything I thought it would be.
Yes. And thank you for having me. And, I'm in the process of getting this book together and everything, and there's more to come.
So come back when you get the book together.
Yeah, there's more to come. There's a lot we just went over, but it's just, and it's going to be called Reflections, and I'm just reflecting back on my life, and just everything that I went through. I journaled most of my prison bid, so I journaled.
So
I got all my
everything
journals,
documented.
and just with my thoughts and my feelings. So it's like my first year, I'm just going to just put my first year just in my thoughts, because that was my transition. My transition was that first year.
We need that book for sure. Don't not do it. We are waiting.
I'm gonna do it. It's a lot more to me. I hide a lot behind a smile,
Yeah.
But I'm still grateful to be here, and thank you for having me.
For sure, ladies and gentlemen, this is CARIN SEALS, and this is Onsite. Peace.